to Fit and Pain-Free the Bonnie Prudden Way. I'm Enid Whitaker, and I'm joined by Sandy Dirks. Our program each month will center around fitness pioneer Bonnie Prudden and her accomplishments, her method of exercise, and pain erasure the Bonnie Prudden Way, or Bonnie Prudden myotherapy, which is a way to get rid of muscle-related pain. Join us as we begin each meeting with a few tension-relieving exercises. Both Sandy and I had the fun and privilege of working with and being mentored by Bonnie Prudden for many, many, many years. Our goal during these monthly programs is to share with you Bonnie's philosophy, programs of exercise, and myotherapy so that you too can live fit and pain-free.
Today we are beginning our series of talks about Bonnie Prudden exercise, and Bonnie Prudden myotherapy. And one of the ways that people describe Bonnie Prudden is as a pioneer. And so Enid found this definition of a pioneer by the Free Dictionary. Pioneer, someone who helps to open up a new line of research or technology or art. A groundbreaker, innovator, trailblazer, conceiver, mastermind, originator, someone who creates new things.
And one of the reasons we're starting with that is because of a new book that's just come out. It's called Let's Get Physical. And the first chapter is about Bonnie, because she was a pioneer in the fitness field. And it's by Danielle Friedman. She came out and spent a couple of days with me, and I put everything in front of her that I could find here, because this house is a history house of Bonnie. Sandy, do you want to read that little part that Danielle writes about how this all started?
Yes, in her introduction, this is one of the ways that Danielle starts. Our story begins in the 50s, when the first real women's fitness celebrity, Bonnie Prudden, pitched exercise as a novel solution for housewives who felt trapped in their homes and struggled to find purpose outside their roles as wives and mothers.
Now, how did she know that? She felt like she was a trapped housewife and mother too. She married into a wealthy family, and they told her her duty was to stay home and take care of the kids and her husband. And that just wasn't Bonnie. She had been a top woman climber in the world, and she was the first woman to get a National Ski Patrol badge. She started what was called the Adelpate Ski Club, which was for kids, and that became the basis of the National Junior Ski Patrol in the country. So she was a pioneer in lots of different ways, and she had been a dancer and an athlete. She had a good body, and she wanted to do things. So when her children were 4 and 8, she visited her 8-year-old's gym class and found that they weren't really doing anything that could be called physical fitness. They were playing games. And it was because of her aspirations for her own 2 girls that the trajectory of her own life and that of the country was changed. So because she went to that little gym class, she saw that they weren't doing anything, and she said, I can do better than this, because she had been a dancer and an athlete. And she told her girls, invite 5 friends each, we'll meet in the Girl Scout house and we'll exercise. And 2 mothers called that evening and said they didn't want the girls to exercise because they'd get muscles. Bonnie, being Bonnie, her father had always told her there's a way. So she said, we're doing conditioning, because nobody would know what conditioning was. And she told the mothers, under every muscle's a curve, no muscle, no muscle, no curve, no husband. So she started with 10 kids, and in a few weeks it was 75 kids, and it just grew and grew and grew until she began to notice that the new children coming in just were not fit at all. They were weak and inflexible. And she asked her climbing mentor, Dr. Hans Kraus, if he had a test she could use. And he said, yes, but all your kids will pass it because it's a minimum test for key posture muscles. She said, well, I'll use it anyway. So she tested all the children, and what she found was that the children who were just coming into her new class failed the test at 58%, and the kids that had been with her for weeks only failed at 7%. And a light bulb went on her head, and she said to herself, if my results are true, then America is in trouble. And by that, she meant that if the kids in her classes were showing failure in key posture muscles and a minimum test, then that was probably representative of the country in general. Because Dr. Kraus was brought up in Austria and was trained there, he had lots of people he could call on. So he arranged for them to do the same test in France, Austria, and Switzerland. And what they found was only 7% of the children over there failed the test. So they started writing articles, and nobody paid any attention. And they wrote more, and nobody paid any attention, until finally Grace Kelly's father saw the article, and he brought it to Eisenhower. And Eisenhower decided that he should have a meeting. So he invited Bonnie and Dr. Kraus, along with like 100 people from the sports arena, to a White House meeting in July of 1955. Bonnie presented her results there, and Dr. Kraus presented the medical implications of not enough activity. And those are the same things that we find that are epidemic today, which are obesity, backache, muscle tension, diabetes, high blood pressure, all the things that he reported and she reported in 1955 at the White House are epidemic today. And the report, which was called the report that shocked the president, was in every major newspaper and magazine in the country in the next day practically. And that is what propelled Bonnie into the spotlight, national spotlight forever.
Bonnie started these programs and was very successful in bringing fit people of all ages. Not only she started with children. Is that correct? She started with her kids.
She started with her kids, and then she started with her kids, but then she wanted to do more because she always wanted to do more for everybody. And so she bought an old schoolhouse and took it apart and created what she called the Institute for Physical Fitness. And as Daniel says in her book, father-in-law be damned, and created that Institute for Physical Fitness, which was open to everybody, from babies through seniors, and co-ed classes. Can you imagine that? For both for husband and wives, but also for teenagers. She felt everybody should exercise together. And that out from that, she became a contributor to Sports Illustrated, and she had a column every month. So she became a household name in short order, and she was on the Today Show. She had a special spot with Dave Garroway on the Today Show every Thursday. and she was able to reach millions and millions of people in their own homes so they could start exercising at home. Because in those days, nobody knew really how to exercise or what they should be doing. And there were no gyms or anything, thank goodness, at that time. So she basically had the nation in her hand because she knew how to address people and give them the information that they needed to take control of their own lives.
She started in fitness, and on the Dave Garroway Show and in Sports Illustrated, as well as in her own Institute for Physical Fitness, her focus was on physical fitness. However, when she started her own TV shows, the Canadian shows, she delved into much more than just physical fitness, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She had a half-hour TV show. There were 195 of them all together, and they were syndicated. And she had a mailbag. She interviewed someone, and it could have been anybody. She interviewed some Russian doctors and some people from Canada who work with the blind. And there were no topics that were outside her limit because she was a regular person. She was Bonnie Prudden, but she was feeling the same things that other people were feeling. Depression and suicide, and what do I do now, and how do I get out of the house? And in one of the personal writings that I found here in the house in one of the boxes was a comment from somebody who said, "This isn't an exercise class, the show." And it was true. It wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. There were 3 parts: the exercise, the mailbag, and then the interview. And she delved into all kinds of different topics.
And if you take a look at her books, she did the same.
Exactly. Yeah. And her first book was Is Your Child Really Fit?, which came right after the Eisenhower meeting. And it was really the first book on fitness. She said somebody tried to find her a present, a gift on exercise, and they couldn't find anything. They couldn't find any books. So that was apparently the first book on exercise, and she went on to write 15 more. Is Your Child Really Fit? Was the first exercise book, and it included the children. So that's really where her basis was. She always felt that fitness should begin in the home, and it should begin at birth.
As well as she always said that if the mother was fit, the children would be fit also.
Right. And actually, that's how I came across Bonnie. I turned the TV on in 1962 to the Art Linkletter show, and she was on there, and she was promoting her new record, Fitness for Baby and You. And she said, you should exercise your baby with each time with a diaper change. And my son was 3 months old at the time, so I started exercising him with every diaper change.
I love it. And that's what got you started.
Yeah, that was my first contact with Bonnie, and it wasn't until a few years later in 1971 that I actually met her face to face. So, and that meeting changed my life because I was a physical educator, and knowing that there had to be a better way to do what I was doing or supposed to be doing, and that weekend showed me what I should be doing. I learned more in that weekend than I had in 4 years of college about what real physical fitness was and how to teach it.
And also, Bonnie didn't want to exclude anybody. So she had classes and taught everything from babies to senior citizens to special needs. Learning that or teaching that anybody can start where they are and they can improve.
Right. And in Danielle's book, the subtitle is How Women Discovered Exercise and Reshaped the World. She covers other people who are in the fitness world, some well-known and some not so well-known, like Jane Fonda and Lottie Burke. But none of those persons included the scope that Bonnie did, from prenatal and baby exercise up through nursing home and special needs. They were more of a niche marketing thing with women from like 20 to 50 or something.
Yes. And I would say that Bonnie really incorporated a holistic view. It wasn't just the physical, it was the mental and the emotional state of people that she also wanted to help improve.
Yeah, her books weren't just about exercise. They had a whole philosophy connected with them. And you learned a lot about how when you feel good about your body, you feel good all over, and you feel mentally more better about yourself.
Yes. Yes. And she was not only a pioneer in fitness, but she was also a pioneer in body work.
Right. She researched and developed what she called Bonnie Prudden myotherapy. And I can remember her saying in 1976, nobody's listening to me. They're all going to get pain. They're not exercising. So now I have to figure out how to get rid of muscle pain. And that's when she started developing Bonnie Prudden myotherapy. And it was a way to get rid of muscle pain. And the book was a bestseller, a New York Times bestseller. We went on the road, I think it was in November, and by December, it was on the best-selling list. It was an exhausting trip, but it was also exhilarating.
Yes, yes. So all this stuff started in the 50s. Why are we talking about it now? Why is it important now?
Because we're a mess as a nation. We sit in front of the TV, we sit in front of the computer, we have these little iPad things that the kids use, and we eat bad food. I'm not talking about everybody. Like Bonnie said, there are always some people who are doing the right thing and keeping fit, but the majority aren't. And it's not really their fault. It's because nobody has been educated to do the right thing. But there's no reason why you can't start now. She believed that no matter where you were, you could be better than you are. And it was a step-by-step process that took you there. And she laid out the step-by-step processes. We know now that people sign up for the gyms at the beginning of the new year, but by March, 80% of them haven't been there. And so if you can't enjoy the exercise, if it hurts you, if it takes time away from what you need to do, you're not going to do it. So her whole program can be done in your living room or in your backyard or in your garage. And in all her books, she has laid out the plans so that you can be fit and pain-free in your own home if you take the time to take the steps to do it.
Yes, so we're hoping to inspire people we're actually trying to do the same thing that Bonnie did with her mission of inspiring people and teaching people how to improve their lives.
So each month that we do our program, we'll be addressing a different part of the Bonnie Prudden program of exercise and myotherapy, and introducing a new exercise each month. So we hope you will join us. Keep fit, be happy, and buy Danielle's book.
Oops, I don't know if they can see the whole thing, and I don't know. Here's mine. Okay, so I'll push it back. So yes, if you want to find out more about Bonnie Prudden, and actually the whole book is really, really interesting. I found it very interesting. And it covers all the way starting with Bonnie Prudden to fitness instructors now. So it's a great read. Very easy to read, very entertaining.
And great research. Our exercise for the month is shoulder shrugs. Pull your shoulders up to your ears and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. A lot of us tend to accumulate tension in our shoulders, which at the end of the day can often lead to tension headaches. The key to keeping the shoulder tension away is to do the exercises throughout the day. When you're waiting for the pot to boil, for the kids to come home, while you're waiting for the red light to change to green. Get rid of the stress before it has time to accumulate in the muscles.